Welcome to WealthX Africa. Our mandate in WealthX Africa is to teach and to learn together some of the things that we need to do as a builder. And then I believe that once we are able to learn these little things, we are able to build. Waiting for a few guys to join us. Today, we want to speak about one age ahead. One age ahead. I'm waiting for a few guys to come in. One age ahead. That is what we are speaking about today. One age ahead. So what does it mean to have a one age ahead? So those who are winning in life, they are not necessarily smarter than you are, but they are one age ahead of the public. So you need to understand that before you can win in life, you need to be one age ahead. And that is what we are going to discuss today. Those who wins in life, they are not necessarily be the people that are smartest. If you check your secondary school days, you check your higher institutions, the people that are really making the big impacts, they are not necessarily be the best. So, but they can see and they can move, they can position, and they can hone before everyone else. So people can have the same degree, the same qualification, they may be working in the same place, live in the same city, but have different results. So why is it that things are like that? So we tend to know that it is not IQ that separates people, it is not luck, and it is not also connection 100%. So, but there are some things that these people understand that many people don't understand, and we are in the age of value creation. We are in the age of value creation, and then value creation has to do with what can you contribute to your community, what can you contribute to your working place. I want to run us through the value creation process so that you can know that whatever that you are doing now, are you working in age 1, age 2, age 3, age 4? The value creation process started from when the creation began, and those ages guide how people make money, how they relate with their life, how they relate with everything that they are doing. And if you know this age that you are operating in is going to determine how you are going to approach everything, both wealth, both money, both connection, and everything. So the age 1 is called labor. Age 1 is called labor or survival mode. Labor or survival mode, I call it hunter age or hunter mode. So imagine if you go to work, you clock in, you clock out, you wait for salary at the end of the month, and then all you are waiting for is 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. you want to close. You are not really adding value to your employers. That is age 1 thinking. Get money, pay the bills. You are not after the organization's success. You are not literally thinking beyond the boss. And you are not literally thinking about what you can do for your organization to go forward. So what you are thinking about, let me go to work and let me get paid at some time. Working for someone else is not bad. It is the operating system behind the person that is bad. So if your operating system, when you are working for someone, is let me just get paid, that is bad. You are going to think about the money that you need to cater for what you need at that moment. And that is the problem. Because money does not solve your money does not really solve your problem. I don't care how much you are getting in a month. According to Parkinson law says that expenses tends to rise to meet income. So in other words, it means that no matter how level of your money is, your expenses is going to rise to meet income. I get to realize this when I was very small, and then they used to give us our allowance 30 days in advance. My own does not really last 30 days. So at some point, we fought for increment. I only experienced the increment in the first month. The second month, I came back to the same level. So, which means my expenses rise to meet income. If you are collecting 100,000 and then they just increase your salary to 200,000. So for a layman, you think, oh, I have excess 100,000. No, that's not how life works. The next month, you are going to see the excess. After 3 months, your expenses tend to rise to meet income. And that's why when you are focusing on getting paid after you work for some time, it is going to affect how you think, and you are not going to be thinking outside the box. So when you are working for someone else, your main goal is, what can I do for this organization? How can I increase my value? So what can I do so that if they want to lay off people, I'm not going to be the number one on the row? And as you are doing that, you are adding value to yourself, and you are moving yourself from survivor mentality to another age, which we are going to discuss. People that operate survivor mode, they focus on efforts. They make money through efforts. So that's the only way they make money, through effort. And then if you look at the Bible, there's a popular story that is very, very popular that almost every one of us will know the story. The story of Jacob and Esau. And then if you look at that story, many times people will now say, oh, Jacob is a bad child. He collected the birthright in a very dubious way. That's how many people are thinking about it. But if you look deeper down, you notice that Jacob is operating another age apart from Esau. So Esau is operating on survival mode. And what is survival mode? Esau go to the bush, kill an animal, hit on it, and reset. The same cycle reset every day. Go to the bush, kill an animal, and reset. Go to the bush, kill an animal, and reset. That is Esau mode. That is age one. That is synonymous to people that goes to work, wait for the closing time, repeat the same thing. And we have many people abroad, many Africans in diaspora. That is what they do. They go to work, clock in, clock out, get paid. Go to work, clock in, clock out, get paid. Then after a month, they pay bills. And what left after they pay bills? Very few. And that's why I'm not saying going to abroad is bad. I'm not saying that. But I'm not saying working for someone else is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you should not work for someone. You need to work for someone to get experience at some point. You need to work for someone to raise capital to start whatever that you want to do. I'm not saying that you should not work for someone. But when you are working for someone, are you creating value? Are you creating value while you are working? Can you make yourself indispensable? If they want to lay off like 10 workers, 20 workers, will your name not to be on the list? That is what we are talking about. And if you cannot achieve that, that means you are working on survival mode. So Esau goes to the bush, kill an animal, hit. Repeat. Goes to the bush, kill an animal, hit. What does his brother do? His brother does not go to the bush. His brother is operating on age 2. What is age 2? Age 2 is agrarian mode. Age 2 is agrarian mode. I call it skill mode. You know, let's, for instance, if you are in construction, if you are familiar with the construction environment, you see some people, they call them labor. So they are the one that carry the block. They carry the block, they carry different kind of heavy things. Those are the people that operate in age 1. And if you see the engineers on site, they are not carrying the heavy blocks, but they are still glued to the work environment. So those ones, they are operating the agrarian mode or skill mode. And what is the logic? Instead of using their efforts to make money, they are using their skill to make money. And people that fall into this category, they are the doctors, they are the engineers, and they are people that have a skill, one skill or the other. You are making money through one skill or the other. Those ones are the ones that operate in agrarian mode, and that one have to do with production. You know, Jacob was not operating in Esau mode. Esau mode is very simple. Go to the bush, kill an animal, repeat. But Jacob does not follow his brother. Jacob rear animal, then leverage on the production of animal. Because animal, when you rear animal, you are leveraging on the production. Those animals are going to give birth and they are going to multiply. So that is production. There's no provision for tomorrow in Esau calendar. But Jacob have enough provision that can cater for him for the longer period of time. And what is the ideology behind operating in survival mode? It's going to teach you how to have instant gratification. And that is the problem. Whenever you are having instant gratification, you are training your brain that if I do something, I need to get paid now. And then if I do something, I need to get the reward now. And life does not work like that. Esau was operating in age 1. But Jacob was operating in age 2, production mode. Those who work in age 2, they plan themselves ahead. So when Esau came from the bush and he was hungry, so give me food. And the brother said, okay, give me your birthright. So people that operate in age 1, the concept of tomorrow have zero weight to them. They don't follow tomorrow. People that operate in age 1, they follow now. What happens to me now? What can I get now? How do I operate now? Those are the people that operate in age 1. And if you cannot delay gratification, if you cannot delay your reward for some time, for your reward to mature, that means you are focusing on now. And that now may spoil many relationships, because when you focus on now, maybe if you work for someone and that person just delay a bit, and the person, instead of you to see beyond the money, that you work for that person, you begin to mount pressure on the person that I need my money, all the kind of thing. You spoil the relationship that can give you more money. Why? Because you are operating in age 1, survivor mode, immediate gratification, instant gratification mindset. And age 2 is production age. If you plant anything, you cannot go there the following day and say you want to harvest. You cannot see any harvest. If you go there the second day, no harvest. I'm sorry, no harvest. So you have to wait for 6 months. Like a palm plantation now, maybe you need to wait for 5 years. Maybe you need to wait for 10 years. That is where the real thing begins. And Esau was operating in age 1, and Jacob was operating in age 2, and Jacob beat Esau because Esau does not follow the birthright. But Jacob, because he is a planner, he followed the birthright. The concept of tomorrow have high gravity to him, and he could be able to negotiate the concept of tomorrow, the big reward of tomorrow for now. So Esau is operating now, and he wants to get to quench the hunger now. But Jacob can still defy the hunger. Hunger can still catch him, but the concept of tomorrow has high gravity to him. Now let's go to age 3. Age 3 is called system age. Age 3 is called system age. You know, if you are familiar with farming, you hire some labor and they are trying to heap your farm. The labor are in age 1. They are literally using their efforts. But you that you hire the labor, you are in age 2. Why? Because you are not using your effort. You are using other people, and other people are using their efforts. You are operating your skill and your money. But at some point, there's a limit to what those people can do. If you have 10 labor, and 10 labor can do X work, so that means 10 times X, so it's equal to something. There's a limit, and that's called evolution, and that gives birth to system age. So when does system age started? System age started with machine. When human being replace human with machine, that is when we have the system age. The system age is, instead of using human to make heaps on the farm, to do your plowing and everything, you are using tractor. So that is system age. And system age give birth to industrial age. And many people that are operating in industrial age, they are operating based on system. They are operating on system. And what's happened with the system? System is good, but it also have limitation. System is good. System is far, far more better than H2. And then you know that many people in H2, they are the SME. They are the people that create their own business. They don't want to work for a boss. They don't want to work for anybody, but they create a system that imprison them. They don't want to work for anybody, but they are working in a system that does not give them time to do anything. You know, if you are SME, you are self-employed, you are working in your own business, but this business has capped you. This business does not give you time to do everything. You are the employee, you are the one that rise up in the morning, go to your work. If you are not there, your shop closed. You are not even delegating anything. Everything is on you. That is age 2 mindset. Right? So when we have the system age, that is where we have the machine. You have machine, you automate, you systemize your process, and you begin to have different kind of things that's happened to you. That is system age. But system age has limitation, and that gave birth to fourth age. And the fourth age, I call it imagination age. Information age, AI age, all those kind of things, I call it imagination age. And why? Because system age is limited, but imagination age is the peak. Okay, let me tell you a story. How many of you know BlackBerry? If you know BlackBerry, drop your comment. You know BlackBerry phone? Drop it your comment. You know BlackBerry. I want to say BlackBerry so that I know that you guys are hearing me. Okay, good. Yes, BlackBerry 2008 was the peak of BlackBerry. And then from 2008, the sales revenue of BlackBerry began to nosedive. What happened to BlackBerry? BlackBerry was the symbol of status and the symbol of arrival and luxury. In 2008, BlackBerry hit their all-time high in revenue, and they are raking in billions of dollars. But do you know what? BlackBerry think that whatever that brought them to system age dominance can keep them there. And then you know what happened after the team brought them to system age? After some time, BlackBerry was no more. They keep optimizing the previous age. Then consumer behavior change, system behavior change. Everybody dropped BlackBerry. So as far back as 2002, 2003, the only phone that everybody knows is Nokia. So Nokia was making a lot of money. They are making very lot of money,
and they are raking in a plenty money. But when time comes for them to switch to the new system, to the new operating system, they don't know what they are doing. And what happened? Nokia was no more. And you may see 1 or 2 Nokia around the store market, but they are not even the first 5 leading mobile producer now. So that is age 3. So whatever that brought you to one age cannot keep you there. A new age creates a new speed, and a new age creates a new leverage, and a new age creates a new advantage. So the title of today's live is One Age Ahead. Which age are you currently operating in? If you are operating in age 1, that's survival mode. You are operating in age 2, that is production mode. You are operating in age 3, that is system mode. And you are operating in age 4, that is imagination. I remember few years ago that I was driving Uber, but there's a limit to how much I can make. There's a limit. And if I make some money today, I cannot repeat it the second day. Why? Because I don't have system. Later, I designed a strategy for myself, and I can recreate my money. I can recreate my money on daily basis. I can recreate my money. But there's still limit to what I can make, because I can only operate in age 1, which is survival mode. So in 3 consecutive times, Jacob won by consecutively operating in another age. So where you started is not matter. I'm telling you, you can start to be an employee. That does not mean anything. But you can be an employee and operating in another age. That's the purpose of this life. This life does not criticize anyone from not starting anywhere. You can start anywhere. At some point, when I lost my business, I started again and I started driving Uber. But am I operating like a Uber guy? No, I'm not operating like a Uber guy. When you go to some regular Uber guys, you will see their car is dirty. They will put on underwears, harmless. They will dress anyhow. That's not me. I don't dress anyhow. Why? Because I know that this place that I am now can catapult me to the next place that I'm going. So I need to treat this thing very hard. So where you started now does not mean that you should end there. You can start to be an employee. You can be a labor on site and be making 10,000 every day. Does that limit you? No, that does not limit you. But are you operating in another age? Because you cannot keep operating in the current age and beat the system. No, there's no way you can beat the system. There's no way. Jacob operates in age 2, Esau operates in age 1. And when the time comes to exchange the meal that is cost lesser fraction of birthright was exchanged for something bigger. Imagine someone just use the family legacy, the cars, the house in Banana, the house in FI and everything. You exchange everything for just for one meal. Not even the meal in a very exotic restaurant, the meal that cooked by your brother. You exchange everything that you can be in life. You exchange it for the meal that was cooked by your brother. Does that make sense? But people that operate in age 1, they don't follow things of tomorrow. They want to solve the now problem. Okay, let's go to the second time that Jacob won his brother. By consistently operating in another age. When the father was about to die, he said, "My sons, get me a meal. I want to pray for you. I want to bless you." And then there's something in life. Whenever you are subjected to a life test, it's going to draw you back to your experience. It's going to draw you back to what you know how to do. So whatever that's happened to you, you relate it to where you are coming from. And what happened when the father asked Esau to prepare a meal, and then peradventure Jacob get to know about that information? 2 of them related to the assignment based on what they have in their memory, based on the age that they are operating from. Esau was operating from age 1, survival mode, so his own strategy is this. Esau heard about, I need a meal. So what's the first thing that Esau did? Okay, I'll prepare. He's just planning. Okay, I'll prepare. I'll go to the bush. I'll kill an animal. Then I'll come back home, prepare the animal, then prepare a meal. Then I'll present to my father. That is Esau's strategy. Then what is Jacob's strategy? Jacob said, okay, I'll go to the backyard, kill an animal, prepare the meal, and present to my father. Tell me, who will come faster? Between Jacob and Esau, who will come faster? Someone that goes to backyard and someone that went to the bush, who will come faster? Those people that operate in one age ahead, they have speed advantage. So Jacob operates in a newer age than his brother, and he had a speed advantage. And when time comes for the blessing, because he went to the backyard, prepare an animal, prepare the meal faster than his brother, he could be able to get the blessing faster than his brother. That is what we are talking about. And then, how long does it take Flutterwave, Money Point to become a unicorn? Why? Because they are operating in information/imagination age. They need to leverage. So the entire people of the richest people in Africa, they are operating in industrial age, which is age 3. You know, imagine you just take phone that was created in 2007, 2008 now. You want to download ChatGPT or you want to download any app and it can work on it. No. I remember in 2016, while I was doing manager in a filling station, one of my boys said that he wanted to download a particular bank app. And then on one China phone that time, as we downloaded the app, as we were about to start logging the app, the bank app just told that, sorry, this phone does not support it. This phone does not support it. Then I already downloaded the same app on my phone, but his phone does not support it. Why? Because the hope was operating in previous age. Every one of us, you are looking at me now, you have a phone, they keep upgrading the system. You say Android 10, Android 11, Android 12, Android 13, Android 14. Why do you think they are upgrading it? They are upgrading the capacity. Sometimes you don't see those things that they are upgrading, but you can feel it. You can see that when they upgrade, you can see the speed. They are faster than before. Why? But people, they operate in previous age and they still want to have the newer speed. No, it's not possible. Jacob worked for complete 14 years just for reward. Nothing more. 14 years for reward. And then at one point, from 14 to 20, he now came back to his senses. Do you know what he said? He said that I cannot continue to operate in age 1. Why do I want to waste my entire life working for someone else? Then he now came back to his senses. Jacob came back to his senses after working up almost 20 years. He came back to his senses saying, no, I cannot continue to work in age 1. What do I need to do? He now began to study the pattern. And when he studied the pattern, he extracts some principles. And when he extracts some principles, and then he can be able to predict some things. And when he was able to predict some things, he know that there's a promise at the end of the tunnel. So how does the Jacob started thinking in system instead of thinking like a laborer? You know, he studied. He was not working with his muscle again. He began to think that, okay, how does the time that this animal made when they are drinking this thing, he began to study. Then he documented some pattern. And then when he implemented those patterns, he can do the test experiment. When he did those experiments, he could know that, oh, okay, I can create something. So Jacob, because he operated in imagination age, returned randomness to consistency. So he now went back to the uncle. Uncle, I want us to renegotiate how this thing will be going. Okay, I'll be taking this farm, and I will be taking this, and I'll be taking this, and I'll be taking this. And what happened? Both of them, they left the negotiation table. Both of them are happy. To Laban say, how can you choose something that's not common? How can you choose it that will be your reward? That means I'm seeing you working for me for the next 30 years. Why? Because when you wanted to negotiate, you even negotiated for something that is not common. But how does Jacob behave? Jacob say, okay, I knew how to turn randomness to consistency. Something that happens once in a while, I knew how I can turn it to consistency. And at the end of the day, Jacob won. Not by effort, he won by brain. That is what we call operating in imagination age. And in Genesis, the Bible said that nothing is impossible for them, whatever they can imagine. And that is called imagination. Everybody knows Joseph as a dreamer. I saw Joseph in a dreamland light. You know, Joseph dreamed about how the father, the mother, the siblings, how they are worshiping him. At the time that he interpreted the dream for Pharaoh, the dream came to pass. But what happened afterwards? So when Pharaoh said that no one has this magnitude of knowledge, so there's no one that can really do this assignment except you. Joseph was appointed to that seat, not because he can dream, no, because he has capacity. And then he was not standing at the gate collecting grains from people, no. Joseph was not standing at the city gate. He created system that can automatically store grains, and with that system it could be able to manage the supply chain of a nation for more than 7 years. If I may ask, how many of you today are thinking a system? How many of you today, if your company is having problem, can you provide solution for the problem? There's a man that was doing gate man in a certain company, and the company was producing toothpaste. This man is a gate man, but he was not operating in age one. Gate man operates in age man. And if you want to know, if you go to any companies in Nigeria, just go and interact with their gate man. Go and interact with them. You will see that before you leave there, they'll begin to ask you different questions. Oh God, now give me something now. That is what. So this man is a gate man, but he was not operating as a gate man. He was constantly thinking, okay, what can I do to increase my value? And as a time come, the company production hits a roadblock, and then they began to say, okay, we are not making sales again. What can we do? They go to their system. They hired a different kind of executive. They could not provide solution to why their sales dropped. And what happened thereafter? They now issued out a memo. We would need someone that can come up with a good solution for us to market our product, to increase our sales. And then the gate man applied. Say, okay, I have a solution that I can give you. I have a solution that I can give you. And before that, we have to have an agreement. If the sales increase, you have to show me the metrics. What are the current sales? And then if I come up with my idea, okay, if the sales increase, we are going to give you the so percentage. And they strike the deal. Why? Because they could not even believe that gate man can come up with a remarkable solution. And after some time, the man has said, okay, the toothpaste that you are using, the opening is too small. So increase the diameter, so that if people wanted to apply the toothpaste to their brush, they will spread it from the very end of the brush to the last end of the brush. But they are used to it. So they are automatically using more toothpaste than before. And that one will increase your sales. So any toothpaste that's supposed to last a month will now last like maybe 3 weeks or 2 weeks. And because of that, the sales of toothpaste increases. Company make more money. At some point, they could not pay the man the percentage that he requested for, so they have to add him to the board of directors. So how can a gate man become a director? Why? Because he was not operating in age one. But how many gate man is operating in different age nowadays? Not only gate man. I'm not talking that gate man is not good. If you are doing gate man, this is an opportunity for you not to think like a gate man. Let's say you are working for a real estate company and you are doing gate man. How can you move in another age? Don't just opening gate and be closing it. You are working in a real estate company that they are selling land, and you are a gate man, and you are just opening gate and closing it. You are operating in age one. So what do you need to do? Get the price of the land, begin to operate it on your status, upload it on your Instagram, upload it everywhere. Let people know that you are selling land. Before they know that you are a gate man, you are already selling one land or two land. And before you can do that for like 2 or 4 or 5 times, you leave the job, because you already have more reward that can pay you 5 years or 4 years or 2 years of being a gate man. That's how to move from age 1 to age 2.